Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. Later in the show, I'll chat with Michael John, owner of Navajo Mike's, old-fashioned style barbecue and hot sauce with the homegrown taste of Arizona. And I'll chat with multidisciplinary artist Keanu Jones. On the phone with me is Marcus Monenerki. Marcus is the Director of Community Engagement at the Heard Museum. Hello, Marcus. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And before we get started, Marcus, can you let us know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My mother's Dutch-Irish. My father's Comanche. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and went to school, for a Bachelor of Anthropology, and got a job at the Smithsonian, and found out that I really enjoyed museums. Great place to work. And not long after that, I moved to the Heard in 1998. So I've been here almost like 25 years in November. My wife is Verna, and she's Navajo. Our two daughters, Miley and Nalani, are college students. That's a little bit about me, I guess.
Thank you for sharing that, Marcus. And you're currently at the Heard. Can you tell us more about what the Heard is?
Sure. The Heard Museum is one of the largest museums in the country with a focus on American Indian art and culture. It's been around since 1929. It's had different missions, of course, as the eras change and the knowledge change and the society changes. Basically, the museum has to move accordingly. And so we're really focused on contemporary American Indian art and culture, and we do a lot of exhibitions and programming around those topics. There's a lot of history involved as well in the work we do. It really informs the current period. So understanding our history is important, and you can get some of that here. One of our most popular exhibitions since 2000 has been our boarding school exhibition. So it was renovated, upgraded a few years ago. So if you haven't seen it, it's kind of a deep subject, of course, you would think, and so it does command kind of a proceed with caution. It can be triggering for people.
For those that aren't familiar with the Heard Museum, can you let us know where the Heard is located?
Yes, the Heard is in Central Phoenix, 2301 North Central, so it's just north of McDowell Road on Central. We're open 7 days a week during the season from 10 to 4.
I know the Heard holds different programming and like workshops. Can you let us know what programs do you have at the Heard?
We run tons of programs. That's what makes it so exciting here. But our foremost programming is our exhibitions. They are produced here in-house, and then we have traveling exhibitions. We currently have an exhibition from the Northwest Coast called Early Days. It's a great look at the breadth and depth of that material from Canada and the Northwest Coast. And we got our mainstay exhibits that focus a lot on the Southwest culture, the textiles, and they're our largest collections of textiles, pottery, jewelry. That's why you see so much of that. It's what we have in our collections. The collections here at the Heard is about 45,000 items. So it's not limitless, and we do draw from around the country with traveling exhibitions. And then we complement these with programs. Public programs, can be films, speaker series, artist engagements of sorts. We have music, dance programs. Hoop dance is one of our biggest programs in February. And then we have holidays at the herd. And of course, we have coming up is Indigenous Peoples Day on October 9th. One of my main charges here as director of community engagement is to get into the community and create learning programs, outside the walls of the museum, where we give the agency to the community. They select their artists, they select the students. A lot of times it's families that come out and learn an art form. And we practice weaving, moccasin making, baskets, flute making. We've done drum making. Just what we can. We know we can't practice all the arts. Some of them have more restrictions on them, and we respect that. So we work with the more secular materials.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I know a lot of the programs and the events and workshops that you guys hold are pretty popular here in the metropolitan Phoenix area. But Marcus, you mentioned that you guys will be doing something for Indigenous Peoples Day on October 9th. Can you tell us more about this event?
Sure. It's going to be a really exciting event. The event does start. We're partnering with Cahokia this year, and so Indigenous Peoples Day Phoenix Fest, 10 days away. You can see it online with that search, Indigenous Peoples Phoenix Fest. There'll be two locations that I'm aware of. Will be Margaret T. Hance Park and the Herd Museum. We'll have a farmer's market here at the Herd Museum, where you can find art and different types of food stuff, fresh foods and packaged foods. That's what we're shooting for, and just different types of artist engagements. We'll have a film gather. We'll show screen gather, and then we'll do a talk back session with that. And we'll have a musical stage in our amphitheater running most of the day. And then we run from 10 to 4, and after 4, all the entertainment and focus goes towards the park, Margaret T. Hance. But we'll be here during the day at the Herd Museum, welcoming people with food, dance, music, and film, art. Really looking forward to it.
Wow, it sounds like it is going to be a really exciting event. Marcus, is this open to the public?
Yes, it's open to the public, and most of everything is just, it's free. There's no charge to get into the farmers market and just into the plaza. I believe if you're American Indian and you have your CIB, that's what they call for here at you can also get in free to the museum. Yeah, it's open to the public, and we're definitely welcoming that.
Taking a step back on the Indigenous Peoples Day, you also have something planned for First Fridays. Can you tell us more about that? Yeah,
this Friday, not this Friday, October 6th, we're going to have a mini Comic-Con here at the Herd. You'll be able to get more of that information on herd.org. I haven't been on the front lines of planning that, so I don't know exactly what will take place, but it's most things that you know about Comic-Con will be happening here at the Herd Museum. And we have a group coming over from New Mexico is actually putting that together. So it should be a really great First Friday at the Herd Museum.
Oh, wow. That does sound really exciting. Marcus, can you let our listeners know where they can find more information about the Herd Museum and also about the upcoming events, and how can someone contact you if they have further questions?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're, our main website is herd.org, HEARD. herd.org. But we're also active on Facebook and Instagram. You can find us there with the Herd Museum search. On herd.org, you can find the Contact Us page, and my information is there, as well as other departments if you have interest or questions for curatorial or the library, the gift shop, and so on.
Wow. Well, I would like to thank you, Marcus, for taking time out to talk to us today, to tell us about the Herd Museum, all of the exciting expeditions that you guys have, exhibits, and also the upcoming events you are hosting.
I appreciate the opportunity and the invite. Thank you so much.
Coming up, I'll chat with Michael John, owner of Navajo Mics. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. Navajo Mike's barbecue sauce started in 2020, blended old-fashioned style barbecue and hot sauce with the homegrown taste of Arizona with diverse herbs and spices. On the phone with me is Michael John, owner of Navajo Mike's. Hello, Mike. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hello. I'm glad to be back.
Definitely. And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
Yeah. So, born and raised in Arizona. Family's from Window Rock. I'm the owner of Navajo Mike's, and we specialize in specialty sauces, and we have new products as well coming on. So, yeah.
That's so awesome. And I know you have some new products, and we will get into that. But to start off, for anyone that maybe this is their first time hearing about Navajo Mike's, please tell us, what is Navajo Mike's?
So, what we do is so far we have barbecue sauce, we have hot sauce. We started in 2020 when the pandemic hit. Obviously, like a lot of people, was out of a job, so I had an idea, and it's become what it is now, and it's been going strong ever since.
That's so amazing. And I know you mentioned that you kind of started all of this when the pandemic hit, but what kind of encouraged you or inspired you to start Navajo Mics?
Just like everything else, it was just an idea in the kitchen. I have a background of 15 plus years in being a chef and everything, and there was always an idea of doing a Southwest style barbecue sauce, and it was just, always talked about, never really pursued it. And with the pandemic happening, that pretty much jump started everything and was the perfect opportunity to kind of see where this could have gone. And, I'm really glad I did.
And I know you have been on Native Talk before, so it is so great to catch up with you. And I know you have some new products from when we last spoke. Can you tell us more about what you've been up to?
Yeah, so we have fry bread mix now, something we've kind of been toying around with for a while and finally pulled the trigger on it. And yeah, so we, along with our hot sauce, our barbecue sauce, we have our flour mix for fry bread, and we got a few other things in the works right now. But yeah, we're just really happy to have this launch and get the fry bread out there.
Wow, that's awesome. And I know you recently also just announced that your sauce flavors are now available on Amazon.
Yeah, all our flavors now are on Amazon. That's the preferred way. Definitely go out there, do that. We have our website as well, NavajoMics.com. But yeah, it's brand new. All flavors are now available on Amazon.
That's so amazing. And Mike, how do you incorporate traditional foods and recipes into Navajo Mics?
So with the spices and stuff we use for all our hot sauce and barbecue, they're all Southwest style. They're all here from the Southwest, peppers, spices, all that stuff. And then, with the flour mix, it's just a traditional recipe that's been passed down from my family, and kind of altered here and there, but it was just a thing passed down that I want to bring to the, and have open to the public to try out,
Yes, and Mike, do you utilize any indigenous food processors or distributors?
Yes, so right now I have a couple places, like the Native Market in Scottsdale. They distribute it there. That's an all Native owned and operated spot that only sell indigenous products. Sweetgrass Trading Co., they're another spot, as well as DeKalb in Denver. They have it in their marketplace, as well as a few other spots that I have. But yeah, we're really trying to tackle down different trading posts and indigenous companies that are willing to give us a try and distribute our products through them. So.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty amazing. I bet it is a really rewarding feeling kind of seeing all of your products out at these different areas.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely exciting. Just loving to see, something that I made started with nothing, and now I'm seeing it in all these places. It's really just an amazing feeling.
Oh, definitely. Especially that sense that you recently had started Navajo Mics, and it has definitely evolved pretty quickly, and that's amazing. Mike, talking about all of the variety of barbecue sauce and hot sauces and your new product, the fry bread mix, do you have a favorite recipe or dish that you utilize your ingredients?
Yeah, so right now what I've been doing is, testing out the fry bread. We'd make, a bunch of that, and I love to smoke brisket. So we do the brisket, 12 hours of smoking, and then, add in the barbecue sauce, green chilies, onions to the fry bread. That's just really good. And it's just really good. Super delicious.
And do you have any favorite success stories?
Yeah, like the guy I have, Ben, he's from DeKalb, he's doing in Denver, and just seeing what he's been doing with his whole company and everything, it's just been exploding, and it's just been amazing. So I've just been keeping up with him and just seeing, all the amazing things he's doing out there in Colorado. And, you know, if anyone's never checked it out, look it up. Takab. It's in Denver. Really amazing company.
Wow, that's awesome. And Mike, for anyone who's maybe not familiar with the variety of barbecue sauce and hot sauce you offer, can you just give us a rundown of all the different flavors you offer?
Yes, we have our original Southwest. We have our spicy Skinwalker style. And then we have a golden stowed-in barbecue sauce. And then with our hot sauces, we have a red Fresno habanero style Diamondback juice. Our green is our fire roasted green chili Sonoran desert drip. And then we have a dark chili smoky hot sauce. That's our Monster Venom.
Oh wow! And how did you come up with the mixture for these sauces? I know you mentioned that you have a long background of being a chef. Did you kind of go into and kind of mix stuff together and kind of figure out what tastes better?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was just crazy because what happened is the original sauce, it maybe took 2 or 3 times to make a different blend, and then the third time it was just like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So I got that. That was my base for everything, and then just made it, you know, spicier. And then for the golden, I was like, oh, let's just convert, you know, the tomato base into a mustard base and try this. And it's just like, oh, there you go. And, you know, all the many years of being in the kitchen, you know, you get the kind of base of how to make things, and then throw your little flair on it, and then there you go. That's your recipe.
Oh yeah, definitely. And now you are offering the fry bread mix. So what's kind of sparked your interest to introduce the fry bread mix?
I mean, I'm sure with you and everyone else, you know, I remember as a kid, always, you know, having fry bread and all of that. And, you know, my grandma passing that recipe on to my mom, and then my mom making it all the time, and then me learning how to make it. And for the longest time, it was always like, oh, you know, we should start doing this and producing it. And it was just, you know, trying to put it on the back burner because I had a bunch of things going on. But then I just had an opportunity of time to do it. And then I was like, oh, here we go. And then came to fruition. And then now I'm like, oh, this was perfect. I'm glad I did this now. So now, you know, just having that whole history, our history of it and family traditions. And I was like, oh, okay, now I want to start giving this to the people and have them have that tradition as well, you know, in their kitchens, in their house.
Oh yeah, that is very true. And Mike, looking at kind of like your social medias, you kind of share a lot of videos of you using your ingredients in different recipes. Do you ever share the recipes that you create with your product?
Oh yeah, I would definitely, you know, if anyone would ever ask or know how to do something, you know, eventually down the line in the future, I do want to make a cookbook that really explores Southwest cooking and indigenous cooking. Will take some time before I get there, but that is something I definitely want to do. But yeah, I mean, I'm not keep all my ingredients to myself, my recipes to myself. If anyone wants to know how to do something, I would more than happily give them recipes and how-to videos.
Oh, wow. I'm definitely looking forward to that cookbook. But talking about the future, where do you see Navajo Mike's in 5 years?
So yeah, with the fry bread mix, I also see dry rubs, maybe branching out more with hot sauces. I mean, we've even talked about doing a food truck, and you know, along with that cookbook I was talking about. Yeah, I mean, right now we're just any little idea we're trying to think of. I'm just trying to expand the brand. You know, the dry rubs. I'd love to do dry rubs. You know, our own thing of green chilies. Hatch green chilies. I think that'd be super cool. Yeah, I mean, we have a big drawing board of ideas right now, and we're just taking it one step at a time. So who knows? You know, right now I can see 10 more items being available to the public probably within the next, 2 years, 5 years. Who knows? Maybe like 50 or 100. Who knows?
And what is your favorite part of Navajo Mike's and why?
My favorite part, honestly, I love I like being a vendor. I like going out. I like meeting people, showing people my my product, letting them know how I make it or what's in it, or hearing, oh, I've heard of you before, or, oh, this is cool. You're from this. Oh, you're from Window Rock. I'm from Window Rock. Just being very customer based. I love just going out, meeting the customers, talking to people, expressing how much I put into this product and all that. So that's definitely my favorite part of it.
Oh, yes, definitely. And also being Navajo myself, it's also just amazing to see someone else that is just like you being successful of being an entrepreneur and starting their business. So that's pretty inspiring as well. And finally, how can our listeners find more information about Navajo Mics, your products, and what events you'll be at, or where they can find your products? How can they contact you if they have further questions?
Yeah, so if you want to keep up to date with anything we're doing, our social media at Navajo Mics, we're constantly posting things on what we're doing, where we're going to be at, what new vendor we're having, or anything like that. For products, NavajoMics.com, we have everything on there, as well as Amazon. Amazon has all our barbecue and hot sauces. And if you want to get in touch with me, all my information's on our website. I have my email, NavajoMicsBBQ@gmail.com. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, we'd like to thank you, Mike, for taking time out to talk to us today, to give us an amazing update about Navajo Mics and all of this new product that you are putting out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay.
Up next, I'll chat with multidisciplinary artist Keanu Jones. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492. Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I am host Lanasha Pawadi. On the phone with me is Keanu Jones. Keanu is originally from Grand Falls, Arizona, and is based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He is a multidisciplinary artist and is currently working for a nonprofit. Hello, Keanu. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be interviewed and talk with everybody today. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your background?
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. Yate she Keanu Jones in Asia, na Kairene Nashla, Totsoni Bashichin, Hashkan Sorsha Chado, touching Dashnala. Nidale Dahilene de Nasha. Shema A. Loretta Jones Loya, Otto, and Shiza A. Ben Jones Loya. So I am originally from the Flagstaff, but my community that I come from is Loop, Arizona, and also the Grand Falls region. So I primarily grew up in that area and went to high school in Flagstaff at Flagstaff Arts and Leadership Academy. I was introduced into the filmmaking program and the kind of the filmmaking world at a very early age in middle school, where I was going to school at the Star School, which is outside of Flagstaff. I did attend Northern Arizona University for my freshman year of college, and then I decided to transfer to Navajo Technical University, which is a small tribal college on the eastern side of the Navajo Nation. And when I completed school and college, I applied for the Sundance Native Filmmaker Lab and was honored to be selected and be able to be supported for my short films and things like that. And moved out to Albuquerque, and now that's where I'm at.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. And can you tell us more about your work?
Yeah, there's kind of two folds of, what I'm involved in. One, that I'll just highlight a little bit is just my occupation with the nonprofit, which is KIA Advanced Rural Manufacturing Alliance. And so we do a lot of STEM and coding initiatives and integration with some schools on Navajo and Hopi. So a lot of it is focused on technology and the infusion of what we call cultural integration. So it's some of my day job, I guess you can kind of say. And I still do a lot of contract work, primarily for videography, promotional videos, and other things like that, and services too. So I still am able to kind of exercise a lot of my creativity in those ways. Additionally, just working with some friends and producers with some other projects that I'm a part of as well. So it's some of my background, and so I'm definitely there's a lot that's kind of going on for me. And not to say that just I'm focused in the filmmaking area. I recently did apply for emerging artist program with a gallery in Santa Fe. So I'm doing some other digital art as well. So kind of just exploring different areas of my creativity and just wanting to explore my artistic, voice and vision.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing. You definitely kind of put your toes in a little different variety area. So that is awesome. Keanu, how did you first get interested in film? I know you said you kind of got interested, I think, was it at a young age in middle school?
Yeah, I was in middle school when I was maybe fifth or sixth grade, I believe. I was selected with, just a group of students to learn about filmmaking, and we did just more documentary, short film kind of style stuff. Just learning to do interviews, lining up which way they face, and kind of writing general questions and things like that was kind of my introduction into it. And I think the biggest part that I was most interested in was just, being behind the camera and just kind of having a certain, eye or something like that, I think was very fun for me. And yeah, I was very fortunate because a lot of families and also my family, we did have access to like some cameras and things like that. So I was able to, just have a camcorder and just ride my bike around where I grew up. Was another example of how I just, was involved in filmmaking. And I think it was just something I gravitated towards, and I sought out after school extracurricular activities in high school. So I did participate and was a part of a emerging filmmaker program in Flagstaff for a few years. And they did a lot of very similar work. I know one year that we did more of a creative short film, and another that we just did a lot more documentary type films. So that's how I was kind of introduced into it. But later on in college and things like that, I was able to explore some other areas like screenwriting. And when I took my class of screenwriting at Navajo Technical University with my professor, Peter Moore, it was very informative on learning how to tell a story. And I think that was just really interesting for me because there's a lot of really interesting stories and characters. Definitely, just within our communities and where I kind of grew up. And I think that's always kind of been there for me. And that's something I always want to continue to strive for is, how to tell authentic stories or interesting characters that I kind of grew up with and kind of was surrounded by. That's maybe a little bit extensive look into, my background and how I kind of got into the filmmaking world.
And can you tell us about the films you have produced?
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. There is, just the ones at Star School where just like Tache, I know was one of them. Ntutikoe, which is Kneeling Down Bread, which was just more of a informative instructional video. So those were the really early ones that I was involved in. And some other documentaries. There's one in high school that me and my other friends and colleagues helped out with, which is Kira Butler and William John, which were students, that I went to school with and that were my friends. And they were also a part of the film program at Star School too. And so we did a documentary, which was about half an hour. And the title is slipping off my mind, but it's half an hour documentary about water rights issues that was happening during that time back in 2018 with the Senate bill. And so that was, another introduction to just, how do we learn about our community through filmmaking. We interviewed community members and elders and things like that about, the implications and why the need for water rights is important within our area. And so I think that was very different, for youth to kind of be involved, and for us it was just kind of like a learning process too. So that was definitely a huge undertaking, and something like, I personally wasn't, fully developed and understanding, but it was just, getting out there and recording and doing interviews and having a lot of images and things like that, and getting into the editing room, finding that story too, definitely was a lot of help, because my father was a part of the process too, and really helped to kind of carve out that story with me. So that's another one. And I think about, I was involved in that project in high school about my sophomore year, I want to say. In my senior year in high school, I did like a shorter version of it, and kind of told the story of how we use filmmaking to give back to our communities, and submitted that to the 2015 White House Student Film Festival, which was themed about, how do you give back to your community? And so that film just highlight that process in that longer film about, wanting to shed light on these issues that we face within our communities. Then in college, I started a YouTube channel with some of my friends, which was called Res Fever. And so we did a lot of just really comedic type videos and just had fun that way. And so, yeah, I was just kind of, always interested in wanting to create things like that. And that just, that interest was still there to develop stories. And that's when I applied to the Sundance Native Filmmaker Lab, because I saw some individuals that were supported by that, and saw that, they had short films that were produced from it. So I thought that was going to be a really good opportunity for me to just grow too. So, I submitted and, went through the interviews and was able to get selected. And that was a huge accomplishment for myself, just as an artist, but also as just like an individual and person that's just, kind of growing up. I think it was just very helpful to get the support that was needed during that time to learn how to, grow and develop, the skill sets as a director and working with different people. And that was very different for me before, because, I just did everything. I recorded the sound, I edited, I filmed it, I directed. During that time, a lot of the writing was just ad lib. All of us, we just kind of made up our lines and things like that. So it was a little bit different in growing that process of learning to write, and to tell the story, and to work with actors and work with crew and things like that. So that was very informative and really helpful. And so that's where I'm at now, is just kind of reflecting a lot on those experiences. But that's kind of a catalog on some of the films and projects I've been a part of as well. There's just many other ones, whether that be promotional films, help to do some highlights of organizations, like one, which is White Mountain Science out in New Hampshire. Another one I did was in Chicago, which was a Project Sincere. A lot of these organizations did some STEM specific efforts, and so I was just kind of helping to kind of capture their story. But also it's intertwined with my other occupation with my nonprofit. So kind of, all these opportunities were able to come out of this position that I have, as well as working with a nonprofit. So yeah, those are some of the projects and films that I produced.
Oh, wow, that is so amazing. And it sounds like your work has really evolved from when it was just an interest, and then you've really grown your videography, directing, screenwriting, like you mentioned. And currently you have a new movie that is going to be, or that you're working on, Liberty of Jewels. Can you tell us more about the movie?
Yeah, it's actually a short film, and this was supported again by the Sundance Native Filmmaker Lab. Back in 2020 is when I was selected for that. And that opportunity was just to kind of help emerging artists or kind of filmmakers that are kind of amateur, but also, it's kind of has a structure of working with the crew and, finding producers and writing the story and like securing locations and things like that. And that was a little daunting for sure. But Liberty of Jewels came out of that, just from a script and an idea. That's how, I kind of got started with Liberty of Jewels, and we were able to film it, I believe, last year of 2020, in February, and completed it in the fall of last year. And so now we're in the process of just submitting to some film festivals and things like that. And so it did get selected for some film festivals, and the world premiere was at the Phoenix International Film Festival, I believe. And yeah, it made its way to Flagstaff and things like that recently. So really excited that it's kind of getting out there and people are kind of seeing it. I think I'm just always curious to see the reception of it as well. We do have a website and things like that, and I think we're going to be planning to make the film publicly available. Hopefully within the next year or so, after it kind of makes its round within the film festivals.
For those that are looking to watch the film now, where can they watch it?
Yeah, it's currently not fully available online just yet. We do have a website at libertyjewels.com, and so that's some of where we're kind of keeping the information and wanting keep the updated press and things like that. I think it might be beneficial to have just like a really short trailer or two to have that available. But yeah, currently it's just kind of being sent out to people who might be interested in watching it. I've been able to kind of share it that way. But we're hoping to maybe post it publicly, maybe in the next year or so or something like that, after submitting it to some film festivals. So yeah, currently it's not super available like online for everybody to watch just yet.
Oh, perfect. Well, it is something that we could look forward to. Keanu, like you mentioned, you've done a lot of different short films and all of that. Can you let us know what kind of rewards or recognitions you have received?
Yeah, there's maybe just one of them, the really big ones from like high school in 2015 was very much the 2015 selection of the White House Student Film Festival, specifically for my short film called Giving Back the Navajo Way. So that was a really good, big, selection and recognition, because it screened in the White House, and being there was pretty surreal and things like that. So that was a really big one. And some other short films, there's another one that's called Vision that I made as well. And that was selected, and I believe it placed first place at the Navajo Film Festival. So just like film festivals like that have been really good. And again, for Liberty of Jewels, getting selected for the Phoenix Film Festival, the Flagstaff International Film Festival, Did get some notifications for some new ones. So excited to kind of announce that. I'm not really sure when we're able to really mention that just yet, but that's going to be in California. So it's starting to get out there, and those are just some of the recognitions that I can name off the top of my head right now.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a lot of accomplishment that you have received so far in your journey in your filmmaking, directing, and screenwriting. But Keanu, what plans do you have for the future?
Yeah. So currently, I'm working with Ashley Browning, one of my producers from Liberty Jewels, and she was selected for a producer program from Netflix and Illuminative. So we're in the really early writing process of really trying to figure out my story and kind of helping to develop that, and that's more focused on the theme and the idea of love and what that kind of looks like from a Native perspective. And part of it, does take place in a laundromat in the setting. So I think that lends for a really interesting story. In addition to recently with Strata Gallery in Santa Fe, as I was selected for Emerging Artists Program and Fellowship. That's very exciting as well to kind of explore a different avenue of my artistry, more focused on digital art and also these really interesting and cool images as well. So that's kind of where I'm kind of headed now. But also, my occupation with the nonprofit as well will always kind of take me in other directions as well. If I'm not moving along creatively in that way, I'm kind of in a different area moving along too. So, that's kind of what I'll be up to.
What would you say is your favorite film you have created?
There's this short horror film that I kind of liked. It's called The Hitchhiker, and I made it with some of my friends, and it's kind of a story I feel like that was kind of told within, maybe the community or, family and friends and things like that. And so something about that was always really fun to kind of explore, what horror is. I think a lot of Native people and things like that, really gravitate to those things. I think it's just always interesting. And I think even Reservation Dogs, I know the first season did incorporate some of those aspects too, the spirituality and things like that. For some reason, I was really proud about that at that moment because I was, again, I did this with my friends, but I was just the main camera person and editor and director, and I remember just kind of having fun with it. I laid on front of the truck bed, the hood of the bed, and the vehicle was moving down a hill, and so it was not very safe, but I was trying to get the shot that I wanted. So there's just always a lot of different stories, that and experiences that I had with making some projects, and that was one of the fun ones. And I think Liberty of Jewels is up there as well because it kind of just shows this different kind of dimension or just this other aspect that I'm kind of exploring and developing as a filmmaker, and a director and a screenwriter. So I think that's another really good example of me kind of growing, and I'm just really excited about what's kind of coming next and to see how I can kind of push myself.
Keanu, how can our listeners find out more information about your work, and how can they contact you if they have further questions?
So I do have social media. I do have an Instagram, and I believe it's Keanu _Jones.7. And so that's where my personal one can be found. I do have a website that is KeanuJones.com. That's another way to get in contact with me, but also just sharing any other works that I might have as well. I try to keep a little bit of a low profile at times, but I'm happy to connect with other people and show my work, and hopefully get connected and see where that can kind of lead things as well. So
Perfect. I would like to thank you, Keanu, for taking time out to talk to us today, to tell us more about your journey on how you've created your film and telling us about your new one, Liberty Jewels.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share the film and, see what others think about, and just appreciate the invitation for the interview today.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, supported by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Audio editing by Javier Quiroga, and the executive producer is Susan Levy. And I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. We hope you tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please email us at nativetalkaz@radiophoenix.org.